We waited for 7 years. We're due.
I promised myself that I'm not going to cry.
And I go to my own closet and I cry to God and say, even if it's because of her, just give us this child.
Wow.
Because of her cry. If I could chase 1,000, I need someone who would help me chase 10,000.
Yes.
I didn't marry you just to procreate.
And all those men that will say, what are you bringing to the table?
I
People should stop saying that.
Fuck her spoon. Yeah, I don't used to bring anything to the table.
She's not the one that actually determines if she's going to give birth, if she's going to have a child or not. It's God.
So please, if you're an intending mom or you're already pregnant, note your body. When you see some signs, you see some things, you're uncomfortable. See, it's not hard. Go to the hospital. Like I was about going into the 34th week. So it was more like, look, you have this baby has to come out or you're both gonna die. I lost him 11 days after in the hospital.
Wow.
You need to go with her, support her, and stand with her.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of Life with Cynthia Podcast. Today we have a very sensitive topic. We are going to be discussing on the experiences and challenges of childbirth. Yes. So I said it's quite sensitive because I know we have lots of awaiting mothers, lots of awaiting fathers, and lots of parents who had to go through a near-death experience during their delivery process. So it's just encompassed like this. This is a very large and sensitive topic, and I have brought the most relatable guests to talk on their experience, to share all their experiences with us, and we can learn from them. So I would love my guest. It's an honor to have both of you here. It's going to be a very beautiful episode, trust me. I would love you to please tell us about yourself. So I'll just start with Shine.
Oh, you already said my name.
Your name is Shine, so I'll start with you, please.
Well, first of all, Cynthia, thanks for having me. This is that episode that's been a long time coming, and finally I made it. Yay! So my name is Shine Veho Usa. There's a whole lot about me, so I would not want to take your time to start doing any of that, but just Google me up. I think that's faster. What do you want to know about my experience?
Before we get into your experience, I would like him to introduce himself first, so
Okay.
we can, yes, please introduce yourself.
Okay, hi, my name is Onyeka Akona. I am a gospel music minister and I am an entrepreneur. I'm a father, a new father, and a husband. And I think that's it for now. That's what I can say about me for now.
I know you have a new album coming up, so please tell us about the album. Just a few seconds.
Okay, yes, there's a new song coming out. It's going to drop sometime in September.
Okay.
But I'm going to withhold the date for now. So, but yes, it's titled Ebenezer, and it's a song that's going to stir up the spirit. It's a song that will, let people thank God and also call God that name that he deserves.
Wow.
Because he's been faithful and he answers whenever we call upon him.
Wow.
So yes.
Yes, we
expect it. And
very
make sure you
eager.
go to my YouTube. Just check for Minister Onyeka. You find me.
Please check for Minister Onyeka and you will find him. We're so eager to hear the song. We wait you. Again, today's topic is challenges and experiences of childbirth. And I know you have so much experience. So I'm going to start with him. I'd like to know how long your waiting period was. How many years did you wait to have a child? And during this wait period, what were you doing, basically?
Okay, so we waited for 7 years.
Wow.
I know to some people it's nothing, but to me, it's a big deal. And I wouldn't wish that for my enemy anyway. So whilst we were waiting, we were actually positive and expectant because I know that it's our heritage. And of course, we, from our background, there is no such thing as, barrenness. So we expected that it was
child
going
will
to come
come.
through. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so whilst we were also waiting again, we were praying and we were believing, and we knew that God had better plans for us,
Yes. He will come through.
because there are ways that seems right to us, but in the eyes of God, it's definitely different. So we waited, and we didn't allow anything to distract us. We didn't allow anything to come in between us, because at that period, there tend to be frictions.
Yes.
There tend to be some sort of opera and disagreement, and sometimes discouragement. But I'm so happy the kind of parents we have anyway. So because they supported us,
When you
they
mean
prayed.
parents, biological,
Yes.
spiritual.
Yes, they prayed. Biological parents, they prayed for us, and of course, my spiritual father, Reverend David Obweli, and my local pastor, local church pastor, Pastor Ken, prayed for us, stood in the gap, and encouraged us. So yes, whilst we were waiting, also we were visiting those who were able to conceive, and also those who actually were expectant and they finally delivered. So we visited them and we supported them financially and otherwise. So because we believe that whilst we're doing that, or when we do that, that miracle will also come to us.
Yes.
So we were doing all that. So yes.
Okay, so because I started with you, I would just like to ask this question. As a man,
Yes.
because you're a man, the society tends to say you need to keep it all together. Even if the woman is putting some font, or even if the woman is crying or wailing, I need a child.
Yes.
The society just wants to box you to one place, to just keep it all together. Don't show it. So how were you able to manage your emotions throughout the wait period?
That was a very tough one, because I can't stand my wife, crying in front of me. And of course, I wouldn't want to cry in front of her. So when I comfort her, I go to my closet and I do my crying. So I don't do it in public, because if I'm crying and she's crying, so who's going to, comfort who? So I had to make sure that she's fine. And I go to my own closet and I cry to God and say, I tell God, even if it's because of her, just give us this child.
Wow.
Do you understand? Because of her cry. I would have to say this on air. I've been sometimes leading worship and I would be crying. People would probably think I'm the anointing, but it's not. I was just crying because God, I serve you faithfully, and there's no issue, with my wife nor me. So why the delay? What's going on? Because I see kids and I crave for them. So I would cry, so that's just it. I wouldn't, it's not that I know they want to just box you, but there are times you just can't, allow that boxing to happen, because you need to let go.
Wow.
You need to let it
So,
out.
but during this wait period, didn't you feel any sort of pressure from friends, from your family? I know you said your biological parents supported you, they prayed for you, but at some point where there was no pressure, didn't they come? You need to give us a child, There was, because it's normal with the African family, the Nigerian family, where you have so many friends reminding you that you need to hurry up, you need to do this.
Yes.
So didn't you feel any form of pressure?
That's why I said I think I'm blessed by that, even from my wife's side and my side. There was no such pressure. In fact, I was surprised my dad was even suggesting, other method, other ways of having, instead of going to say, I'm going to get you another wife, so I didn't get that pressure. Maybe a couple of friends or whatever, maybe from, I don't know, but I don't think it was much. And also that also helped. But even at that, I wouldn't have succumbed to that pressure.
I think you were just in the right circle.
Well, yes.
You have the right sets of friends. You have the right sets of people around you.
Yes.
Because the pressure from these people, especially your family members, is not a funny one. I know of stories of so many stories where, the family, the mother
Yeah.
So your mother-in-law, or it's just on your neck, not your mother-in-law, for the wife, the mother-in-law,
Yes.
which is your mother, is always on their necks to provide a child, do this. If not, you will do, so it's just a lot. So I'm just happy that during this your waiting period, you were with the right people.
Yes.
It's very important to be with
Yes.
the right people during this time. So before I move to Shine Behel, I would love to ask one last question.
Okay.
Your relationship with your wife.
Yeah.
I'm very eager to know this particular issue of awaiting fathers and awaiting mothers. It has broken a lot of marriages.
Yeah.
People who have waited for so long, they get to that point where they can't wait anymore, and like, let me just go my separate ways. I mean, we've tried everything we could, we've gone to the hospital, we know that we're fine, you're fine, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Why do we have to wait so long? Maybe it's your problem, maybe it's so there's just this thing, there's always quarrel, there's always fight, there's always one thing or the other in the family, in your marriage. So I just want to ask, if it's not so much of a sensitive question, well, how's your relationship with your wife during this period?
Okay, so there were times where because throughout those periods, my wife she actually told me that she wasn't herself. Like she lost that self-esteem, like she lost her composure, she lost her, confidence, and so that will always make her put up some sort of defense mechanism at times. And there was a statement she made, or she made, and I knew where she was going to. Something like, if I act in a certain way, she would want to say, okay, maybe if I cannot give you a child, maybe you can get someone else who would give you a child. And when she utters those statements, it breaks me,
Yes,
because I didn't marry you just to procreate, just to have a child. I married you.
I promised myself that I'm not going to cry in this episode. Any spirit of crying, I take you out. I will not cry. I will not be emotional today.
Because we need to understand this. I didn't marry you because I want to have children. Permit me to use, because if I could chase 1,000, I need someone who would help me chase 10,000.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes,
So
please use.
Yeah. So of course, I that was what also gave me that sort of boost and confidence, and also encouragement to ride on.
Wow.
So I was willing to go all out, and I was willing to ride it with her.
Wow.
But she needed to, at the point, she also needed my support. And the support is not just me talking it, it's me acting it.
Yes.
And not just acting it extra, but I keep telling her, what else you want me to do?
Well,
You
at
know,
that point,
and whenever we have,
emotional,
that's why whenever we have a little bit argument, a little bit talk, and I say some words, my God,
she gets triggered.
that's it. And I'll end up begging again. So I felt for her. But that's why in fact, I was going to say something quickly. And like I said, we're praying, but there was a dangerous prayer we did before this happened. That month that happened, we were praying 3 a.m. prayer every day, and the last week we continued the prayer, but we started with Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So she just went to pee and checked it, because I know we used to do these things. When we check every time, we'll see like a faint line, and after some time we won't see it again. And this one, when I saw it, I'm like, God, this one. Be like, okay. She was excited about it, but I was a bit excited. But I said, nah, let's go and do your blood test. She did blood test, and it was positive. I didn't know where to start from. When you've delayed
so long,
that excitement
Yes.
is like coming out little by little.
Yes.
So I said, nah, I want to be sure. We did scan. Lo and behold, I just don't know how to explain it. She cried.
7 whole years.
Cried. I just don't know how to explain it.
Like tears of joy, yeah?
Tears of joy, yes. When you see kids just run by, be like, oh my God, when is my own going to come? God, when? And when it happened, it was just my pastor could not contain that joy. He was in US with the wife, and man, it was just I don't know how to explain it. My father, in fact, when the father heard it, my God, he was crying because he waited for so long. He would travel all the way to the mountains to pray. My mother-in-law also, man, it was an emotional time, and I'm glad.
Grateful to God.
Yeah,
Thank you, Lord, for the addition.
yeah,
He always comes through. That's it. No matter the time, the waiting time, he always comes through. God always comes through.
yes.
Moving on to shine.
So what's with the
I need to,
mind needs a lot of
yes, I need to breathe.
I don't know.
Breathe in. Okay, so the one for you is I just want you to tell us about your delivery, the pregnancy and the delivery. I know you there was a time you told me you were the first person who educated me on preeclampsia. I knew nothing about it.
I did.
That was when I was pregnant with my first child. So I want you to just tell us about it again because I know you had that phase.
Okay, so well, it's you're taking me back to maybe is it 7 or more years ago. Okay, so I've been married for 10 years, and the year I got married, that was in 2015. That was the year I got pregnant for my first child. It was nice. It was, you know, we didn't plan it. It just happened. So, because I was like, I haven't seen this thing for a while, and my husband was like, okay, just let's do some PT test, and it came out positive. I was like, okay, all right, and we went with the flow. But the next year, 2016, during the course of the pregnancy, it was just then I was still working. I was with a different radio station at that time. I don't know if it was, I don't know whatever triggered whatever it was, but my feet started swelling up so bad. My face wasn't swollen, but my feet. And it was so big that my elder sister was like, you know what? This doesn't look normal. Let's go to the hospital. We went to the hospital. They're like, my blood pressure was a bit high. Now this is someone coming from, when you're always doing your antenatal, they'll let you know if you're high rate or low,
Yes.
and for me it was low. Then all of a
Urine
sudden,
test, yeah?
no, yeah. When they'll tell you that,
Your blood pressure.
no, not blood pressure, that's your high risk or low risk.
Okay.
So this is me who's low risk. And then 2 weeks after, all of a sudden, I'm high risk. Now, that was really, really crazy, right? And I didn't know what was going on. So I stayed in the hospital. They, checked me up. Then they told me, okay, just relax. When we see that your blood pressure is down, then you can go home. So I went back home that day. And then it just kept on at one point. So I'll go back to the hospital. At one point, they said, I'm sorry, you can't, you have to stay. So I stayed, I think, up to 4 months in the hospital. Wow. Yeah. I stayed like up to 4 months in the hospital. And I'm talking about daily tests. I'm not just talking about urine. There's different blood work. There's different this, different that. Every day for like 4 months. Now, don't forget,
Excuse me.
I was already 20-something weeks when, because usually preeclampsia happens around the 20-something weeks. Not to everybody, but then, some special cases. And unfortunately, I was one of those people. So yeah, I stayed in the hospital for a very long time. My husband had to stop his business and all that, to be with me. Like, literally, my mother-in-law came into Lagos. My whole family was on a different level. We're consulting. Of course, we have doctors in my family. and also in my husband's family. So everybody's like talking, but luckily I was in one of the best hospitals in Lagos. And I'm not talking about a private hospital. It was a military hospital in Ikoyi. The facilities and the doctors there were super, super amazing. They took care of me. And then at one point, one of the tests was like, okay, you have to give birth now. I mean, oh, you're going...
And what week were you then? Pregnant?
With 33 and a half. Like, I was about going into the 34th week. So it was more like, look, this baby has to come out or you're both gonna die. So it was more like, and trust me, I was already like, my face, my whole, like, I was literally like a ball. And, my amniotic sac was really low. The baby wasn't swimming as much. So we had to do an emergency operation. We both got out fine. We both got out, but it was in a different hospital because where I was, the neonatal ward wasn't working. They were renovating it, so they had to refer me somewhere else that had like an incubator. Plus, we have a lot of issues with incubators. Plus, we have a lot of issues with incubators in Nigeria. That's a story for another day. Anyway, so they referred me elsewhere. I went in there. We did the operation. The baby came out, incubator. Like I said, for another day. And I'll just cut the story short. I lost him 11 days after in the hospital.
Wow.
It took a huge toll on me because after all that stress, you finally see your child, you guys are vibing, and then they tell you the child is no more. Hospital negligence. So please, everybody know the kind of, this is a hospital that everybody trusts to, but it happened. And well, I was my mind was in a different state for a long while, and it was really crazy. I went through a whole lot. And at one point I was like, I think I just have to leave the country for a bit, because I couldn't bear it. Later on when I got back, I went back into work mode, and all that. And I told myself that no pressure, whenever I'm ready. So even if it's going to be 7 or 8 years later, if that's when I feel I'm ready, then I'm ready. But 3 years after that, I felt like, oh, I'm ready. And my husband was like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. So pardon me, let's just say I literally raped him. No, but but you get what I mean. Like, yes. I was sure already. I was like, you're like, okay, so I heard that. No, but you get what I'm trying to say. So it was, and so what I'm trying to say is like I was ready. Yes. I wanted a child. Yes. And I wanted to like so Baba, are you ready? No, I'm not. You are ready. Or you must be ready. Basically, come here. Let's go to the other room. But yeah, so 3 years after, and like I said, it was the third year I decided, and I told God, I said, look, I'm ready. So Baba, you have to give me, I know you have to come through. And he came through, so I didn't have to wait long. It was just a couple of months after I decided, and then it happened. Okay. So thank God for that. And then basically, that was it. So I had my rainbow baby. That's what they always say. The child that comes after you lose one is called a rainbow child. So I had my rainbow baby. She's amazing. She's 6 this year. And luckily I didn't have any preeclampsia, because sometimes it will come back. Not sometimes, like literally. Yeah. So they had to really take care of me because they didn't want that. Yeah, because I changed my hospital because my main doctor was not in a country. So I went to different hospitals. So my case file and everything. So they're like, okay, now you are a special case. So everything. But like I said, I was prepared. Funny enough, when I was in America, I said, look, I noticed some things with our medications here, especially our folic acid. It just feels like it's low. It doesn't give that premium enough. So what I did was I bought some supplements, and of course also pregnancy supplements too, and all that. Like I just brought everything down. I said, when I'm ready, I'll take it. But before then, I just started taking folic acids because I hear it's good. And whether you lose a baby or not, it's good for women. Yes. And then when they want to give birth again, it also helps. So I was taking that, and it was a very good dose. I've never seen that amount of dose still in Nigeria. And anywhere that sells it will probably sell it high and say, this one are from America. So I just got all of them. So even when I was going to the hospital here, the hospital will give you meds like every time you go and check. So when I see their folic acid, I just put it on one corner. I take mine. I also did my research, because you need baby aspirin. So you don't take normal aspirin if you've had preeclampsia before and all that. So I also bought baby aspirins from there. So I didn't want to. So I was literally prepared. I already knew what I needed to do. So when the doctors were like, when I take my own. So maybe that helped, because it was on the proper. And so basically that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this preeclampsia thing I won't say it's rampant. I won't say it's like a norm now, because I remember my first pregnancy, I also had preeclampsia. And the truth is, during the course of the pregnancy, there was nothing. Urine test, NAD, no blood pressure, no nothing. And then towards the end, I just that was my 30 the very funny. Okay, so on my 38 plus weeks, I went for my antenatal and all. And then I got there and they checked my blood pressure and they said it was high. Said it was 147 over 90 something. And I was wondering where that came from, because I've always had history of 120, 180, no blood pressure. And then they checked my urine that same day and they said there was one protein in it.
There was protein.
So I don't know where these things came up from. Immediately the doctor just said, "Oh, Cynthia, we need to rush you for an emergency CS." I'm not ready for CS. I came to deliver, you know how we used to say it, like a Hebrew woman. Please, Hebrew woman is mother and child that is healthy, that came out alive. There's nothing like
Please let them
Hebrew
know.
And I want to push. When your life is at stake, please don't even try to push. Because I remember when the doctor just told me, "Are you ready? Do you have your baby things?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay, we're going to take out this baby, go upstairs, go to the theater." And I just got immediately. First night it was called my husband. I said, "Okay." They said they booked me for emergency CS. And my husband said, "Yeah, now I'll go. Now I'm coming." As in, there was no pressure. And I called my mom. "Hey, you will not give birth with CS in Jesus' name. You will never give birth with in the name of Jesus Christ. Go. I rebuke it. Let me call my pastor. That thing cannot. Tell them to wait. Your blood pressure will go down. I rebuke." My mom was praying heavily.
I think that's for another episode.
Call out. I said, I should not. I called my pastor. I said, "Sir, they booked me for CS," and it just goes, "Okay, go up. I'm coming." Where's the hospital? I told him. He said, "Oh yeah, just go up. I'm coming. Go and do your CS." And I called my mother back and said, "My pastor has agreed." He said, "What kind of pastor is that? Who agrees to? Did I give birth to you with CS? Why would you want to? If you see Reiki for hospital that day?" And they were like, "Okay, mommy, oh yeah, breathe in and breathe out. No problem. I will not do the CS. Just hold on." As I ended the call, the way I ran to the theater to go and bring out this child. They brought out my child. The child did not cry. When she wasn't crying, she didn't cry for so long. I was so worried. I was on the bed and I kept on praying, "God, my child do not die." The doctor said the child was in distress because of the high blood pressure. And then they rushed her upstairs. Okay, after a while, she now cried. They now rushed her upstairs, put her on oxygen and so many things. And I'm like, imagine I'd listened to my mom and not do CS, and my child will be in distress and she'll just keep going like that. Please, we're in Nigeria. Let's
this same thing, sorry my dear, this same thing almost happened to us, because my wife we didn't even get to this 30 something weeks. Just I think it's in 20, I can't remember now, but in the 20s.
Yeah.
And the blood pressure was already high. And my wife, with the instinct, said, "We need to go to the hospital." We got to the hospital. Doctor said, "She's not coming back home." We stayed in the hospital for 1 week. And of course, when you stay in the hospital for 1 week, you're paying the bills every day. But that's not really important. What matters is my wife's life and the baby's life. So before we knew it, they planned already for the see, because they'll try to check and see, okay, let's keep checking on our BP. But it kept rising. So that weekend, boom, did the CS and the baby came out.
How many weeks?
It wasn't up to 30. It wasn't up to 30, is it? I don't think so.
Wow.
It wasn't.
The baby was an incubator, yeah?
Yes.
It will have to be.
Wow.
It will have to be.
Is it up to?
It will have to be.
I'll check, but it wasn't up to this 30.
38.
Nah, that's way far. If we had waited for another 1 day or 2 days,
It's been another story.
because now the thing was the baby was the what's it called?
Placenta.
Yes, was
Wrapped
around my baby, and that was what was affecting my wife, BP, and that's what I've choked the baby too. So imagine we had waited, I lost the wife, I lost baby.
She was a very.
So
she
we
did-
don't.
yeah.
So this is the thing. A lot of people still don't understand that CS is also a gift from God.
It is.
Do you understand?
It is.
So
That's why we have to change the norm. It's sad when I see people say, "Oh, you're not whether push baby or
it's still
operation baby." It doesn't really matter.
The most important
The most important thing is that
healthy
the
baby,
child
healthy mom.
exactly. That's the most important thing.
And also
but the
tell-
child in a womb, yes.
yes.
So
and
what are you now
I
saying?
also tell them. I also tell people the way you get your baby, as long as it's from God, whether it be IVF, be it IUI, be it naturally, be it surrogacy, they are all the same form of having children. They're all gifts from God. So because if it's when they all fail, then you now tell God, I've tried. It's all on you.
Most times, do people actually even get to the point where they all feel it's money they are to do this?
You know the funny thing with
I know, I know.
preeclampsia is that yes, most of the time, according to till now, it is still a research that's been boggling the medical research world for a long time because it just happens. They still don't know what triggers it. The only thing they know is that as from 20-something weeks, it may
checking for
occur.
it.
Now, you said that at 30-something weeks for you, it's king. Yeah, it does also happen. It does also happen, but it's rarely. So you were one of those very lucky, very, very, very lucky ones. So I thank God for that. And another thing with preeclampsia is that it doesn't stop at preeclampsia. That you see pre. So it's going. There's eclampsia, which is the high one. There's no coming back. So when
There was for me.
No,
my
you-
second child, I did not. There was nothing like
I'm
that.
done now. I said there's no coming back.
Okay.
That is where you now see or hear when you say, oh, this person, she get belly, she just die. Like that. The thing at the end, it has moved from preeclampsia. It has entered eclampsia.
Yeah.
There's no coming back to that. I can remember when I was in the hospital, there was one night, my blood pressure, you said you had 140 something. I was above that.
Yeah, it was
Almost
My wife's
200.
My wife's almost above.
170 something in the TFI.
I was almost 200. From nowhere, you could see the doctors, the nurses. Like, I can't remember how many kinds of injections went into my body. Because the next thing was like, if they were not fast, I'll go into vegetative states. And that's your lungs will fail and different things. I mean, preeclampsia, this thing is not a joke. So when you see a pregnant woman, right, just appreciate them. Praise God for them. It's not easy because it's a 50-50.
Yes.
Your life is on the line. So you are either going to make it or not. So
But
our
we have to
prayer
make
is that we have to always
Have to
keep
make it.
making it.
We will make it.
You've already
So
made it.
everybody, no, I'm not talking about us.
Yes,
I'm
I
talking
know, of
about,
course.
so please, if you're an intending mom or you're already pregnant, note your body. When you see some signs, you see some things, you're uncomfortable. See, it's not hard. Go to the hospital. If you have a doctor on the speed dial, call the person, but still go to the hospital.
Do something.
Very important.
Don't
It's
keep
better
any
you
information
go
to yourself.
that they say, oh, okay,
You're okay.
that you're okay, than not
can
to go
manage
at
it.
all.
Yes.
Because you never know. So please, that was why a couple of years back I started a preeclampsia initiative. And when I was preaching the word, and a lot of people didn't like how you didn't know. That's the way I used to talk to. I had like this big initiative, and people were like, preeclampsia, what's that? So I'm happy that I was able to teach some women.
Yes.
And now and a lot of people don't like to go for antenatal. They'll tell you that, the doctor just wants to, the hospital wants to just collect money. That's what they say. But it's really not about that. It's about you. If you keep going and there's no complication, that's fine. I was really happy that I was able to touch some women, their lives, they learned, and people were asking questions. And then that's what I can remember that a man came across to me. He sent a message and he said, look, I like this initiative that you're doing. And then he said his story about how he actually lost his wife to preeclampsia, his wife and his kid, and he hasn't been in himself since then. It's been very devastating.
Sorry, before you continue, it brings me to the question I wanted to ask before all this. So how did you, with your husband, after the loss of your first one, how did you guys manage? How did you manage it? I mean, there should have been some emotional, I don't know. I don't
know. There was. There was.
But
the thing was, we were not. So, like me and my husband we're mushy, but at the same time we're best friends, so we understand these things. Like, I mean, I was down, emotionally and all that. He knew it, but he was not fight. He was just trying to see how to get me out of whatever. Do you understand? And all that. And that's why at one point he was like, you know what? Let's just give ourselves some fresh air. You just go back to America, and me, I just chill here and do a couple of things. And that was just basically.
That really helped.
That helped.
The relocation helped.
Yeah, that helped.
So for those of us who don't get money to go America,
you go to village now.
If you don't have money,
that was when Nigeria was still better.
Go to village.
Let me tell you, village, serene environment, receive fresh air. When they come and when they play draft, they make their noise. All this turn.
That was when Nigeria was still, and flight was still okay. Everything was still okay.
Flight is still okay.
There are two things I just want to say so that.
But anyway, you asked me how I did it, and that was it.
So the two things is I want to say to the people out there. One, to the men, please support your wife, encourage her throughout this process, because she's not the one that actually determines if she's going to give birth, if she's going to have child or not. It's God. If you've done unnecessary tests, and also if they call you up to go and do tests, I don't know how many times I've done weird tests, man. I told my wife, I'm not going to do this thing again. God, I've done a lot, but you need to go with her, support her, and stand with her. That's because I've heard some women who actually committed suicide because of that weight, and that's because the husband was not supportive. So please always support her. Then I will say this to the women, to be honest, you guys are superheroes, because you had to die to give birth. You actually literally die to give birth, to bring life.
Yeah.
So I must say, you guys are superheroes. You should know this so that you won't be misbehaving.
And then someone will now say, and then all those men that will say, what are you bringing to the table? People should stop saying that.
Fuck a spoon. Yeah, they used to bring anything to the table.
I mean, I'm like, when I hear that, like, when did all this start? When, how, why? And then some men will complain and say, you people have Mother's Day like 4 times in a year. Yeah, so let's have it. If we even have it 7 times a year.
I have one Mother's Day. I have one Mother's Day.
No,
you said what you went through. Mother's Day, Girlfriend's Day, International Women Day.
Do you understand? All of them.
Even our own one Father's Day, they won't forget it.
Nobody is forgetting. We don't forget it. But
the current Nigerian settings right now, even the Father's Day, women they drag our men. You will see happy Father's Day to me.
Now they take them out too.
Yeah, but those are for especially women.
But my wife takes me out.
Women that are single. My
wife takes me out on Father's Day. Buys me stuff on Father's Day.
I beg.
Yes, which is good. That's how it's
supposed to be. So please make sure
you go anywhere.
My wife now.
I'm just telling my husband, I can't listen to this podcast. I didn't carry anybody go anywhere.
I usually spoil my husband, usually I spoil my husband, but that day is super duper Father's Day, so
Anyways, thank you guys so very much for there's just so much about this particular topic that we've not
that's why I
covered.
So
I feel like we might actually have like a series, like a season 2 or a part 2 of this topic, because I want to look at it from so many angles. From the faith, church, I want to look at it from the pressure for having children. The pressure around childbirth is too much. So I also want to look at it from the pressure side. There's just a lot to talk about, but I'm grateful.
I didn't really have pressure, so I don't.
You still don't have pressure because your child is 7 years and you don't even look like somebody that wants to.
Whenever I'm ready, right now I'm not ready for another one. But like I said, when I'm ready, I will take it. They said the violent taketh it by force. Yes, violent again.
There's another weight of when you've given birth the first child and you're trying again, wait for another long years because you're not able to conceive. That's another kind of wait.
Yes. I know. Yes, I know of someone who gave birth. Okay, let's say she waited for like 5 years, 6 years, had the first one, and waited for another 7 years.
I know someone
Before
who's
the
currently like her first son is 9,
God
and they've
have
been
mercy.
waiting. You know, it's really not easy. It's not easy. So
It's not an easy
But
job.
another thing is, I would want to say that every woman, try and do your research, medical research and all that. Don't just hearsay, this one, that one. The funny thing is that when it comes to preeclampsia, there's so many things that it repeats. Like when you see it, you will think, when they'll tell you, if you are pregnant, your feet swell, a normal thing, your hands swell, a normal thing, to an extent, but no. Most times it's a sign before the blood pressure. So please,
Look it up.
once you see any swelling, just go. Don't even wait.
Like my doctor will say, do not do home prescription. Please, whatever it is that you need, that you think you need to handle, go to your medical practitioner and handle it. Again, thank you so much for being with us on this beautiful episode. Thank God for your life, Mr.
Thank you.
Maker.
Thank
Thank
you for
God for
having
your
us.
wife.
Thank you.
Thank God for the support you gave to her. It's what a lot of families are missing. The support in this trying time. So thank you so much for doing that and being the man
Yeah.
that she wanted you to be. Thank you so much, Shine, for also coming on board with us. Thank you for sharing your story on preeclampsia. I'm hoping a lot of people have learned the same way you taught me then, and I hope you guys have learned how much as much as you need to know about preeclampsia. And thank you to me too for sitting down and listening to this podcast.
Thank
You
you.
did not thank my husband though,
Thank you.
for
Oh,
being in the
yes.
hospital with me for almost 4 months.
You did not tell us that
I
part. You
said
see
it
why
now.
I did not
I
tell
said I was
you
in
didn't
the
say your-
hospital. He kept coming. Like I say, off shop. Off shop,
okay.
and was with me now.
I'm so sorry. Forgive me, sir. Thank you so much for standing by Shine Beho when she was in the hospital throughout. You are a phenomenal man, and we're so grateful to you.
Collect your flowers, sir.
Collect your
Yes.
flowers, sir. Please stop giving this one. Okay, so from all of us in the studio, thank you so much and bye.